and Ryan Stone. He's a halfway decent looking guy, a nice smile. You have to get through that wall because he...
79T 2458 Learning Corp, Little Red Riding Hood, take one.
Somebody find out the fucking real names for me.
40 years of my life is in the wire that's gone. Does that make sense?
You have to get through that wall.
I only know what my heart feels.
Where they say there are Indian people pooping on our beach.
Socially retarded.
It's a spool of wire. 40 years of my life is in the wire that's gone.
Fellas, so good to see you. I'm tired, boss. Boss, I'm tired. I'm tired. Oh, dude, it's been 2 weeks of nonsense. So, I don't know if apology is the right word, but yeah, snarky is it. Yeah, so I found out why YouTube canceled the stream 2 weeks ago. And supposedly it was the gun footage in the Iraq war stuff at the very beginning of the introduction. Did a review, all went, and they're like, yeah, no. So the gun now becomes Mel time. I know, it does feel like it's been forever. In internet parlance, I've probably lost half of the audience now. They've moved on to something else. They're watching Caleb Hammer right now. Oh my God. It's been some times. Had some family issues. We had some family over visiting, a little bit of issues, but sorted out. So apologies again for missing last week. I think I've missed, since starting this show, like 6-7 years ago. Actually, 6 years ago. I've missed a total of 5 weekends. And then the last 2. Jeez. I've went back to Fresh and Fit. No, Caleb Hammer is the new Fresh and Fit. My girl's hooked on it right now. I watch it and it's like exactly the same thing. Oh my God, he's holding those bitches accountable. It's that, except for you do it nicely. Oh, it's not even nicer. He just does it with that millennial snark, passive aggressiveness, and instead of feeding them a White Claw, he's asking for their accounting statements. It's the same thing. They figured out a way to make it polite, to give it plausible identity or plausible deniability. But that's not what the show's about, this one here. Yeah, you got to stay away from the Iraq War. Had the Digital Ryan video taken down for the ISIS. Well, the ISIS flag has nothing to do with it. It wasn't even the flag. He's Marty's in chat right now. He's talking about how I got an old Digital Ryan video taken down, which is true. It was one of our old Project Zomboid ones, which are fun as hell. And I still think those ones stand up as like evergreen content. But it was the ISIS theme song or anthem that was playing in the background because Mish ended up murdering Marty for some reason. I don't remember. I thought it was a funny joke, but apparently you two don't play. So whatever. Yeah, it's Bloodsport because not a single one of them bothers dealing with the finances. He sits there and he's for like an hour and a half and chastises people for absolutely ridiculous financial situations. It's at the point that they're so bad. He is like, people are, I assume they're actors. But then I've kind of met people who are that stupid. Like I remember when I was sailing, my one buddy, one of the 7 Matts that I had spread around in fuck files, he was married to his high school sweetheart, a Polish lady named Elizabeth. And they used to bitch all the time about money. She was some like corporate office chick and he was military. So they had money. They bought a house and they were doing all well. And they would just bitch and moan and complain to each other about being broke. And then they'd go out and buy new iPhones. It was the weirdest thing. And we always thought of them as kind of irresponsible people. But the more I've kind of gotten outside of the bubble of good friends, the more I've seen, oh, it turns out people don't know what money is. It's just magical fun tokens. And I'm not even talking just women. I mean, it is women, but a lot of guys too. Like the day I met, when I was moving into Montreal and I met my investment banker, whatever they call it. They always assign you one from the bank as your accounts manager, and they always try to upsell you on investment things that give good returns, but they take half of them in fees, so it's kind of annoying. But yeah, she's like, oh wow, it's crazy. Saw my numbers. It's crazy. Every time I've ever seen a couple come in here, the wife's always 10,000 in debt and the guy's managed to save 10,000 or 100,000 and 100. It's like a reverse dowry, and it turns out that is common. Women are in massive chunks of debt, and guys are basically paying for reverse dowries, and nobody talks about this. Everybody's always navel gazing about, oh, the reason that men and women aren't in the TFR. And it's like, women cost like 50 grand now, man. And I'm not going to lie. You remember how mad people got after the cash for clunkers and then the inflation when all of a sudden people were trying to find like a 1992 Subaru and it was like 50 grand? And everybody's like, I'm not buying that goddamn used Subaru. They used to be $1,000 beater. It's kind of like that. Hey, what do we got here? John, the mayor of Orc City, still refuses to name his book Orc City. So I can get the name right every time I'm on here. Son of a bitch. Yeah. Cost does equal value. I mean, it's... The river's going to go the direction it goes. You gotta carve your own path. And this is why I would probably be good, too, if I started joining in on the navel-gazing, bougie, first world problems, gender discourse out there. Because Substack people are raking in fortunes talking about the most banal subjects. But that's not what we've ever been about. We've never been about sitting here and, well, why is it? No, it's how's. Do you want something? All right, what do you want? All right, I want this. All right, that's how you get it. That's why I loved the last couple weeks, Chesty, and Chesty's been on the Salt Lake sit down. I've had links to it in the thing here, so if you get down here, go check. It's in the posts section. He and Rurb, and they were talking about some of the sidebar stuff. We don't usually talk about it much because most guys aren't in a position to take advantage of it, like 48 Laws of Power kind of stuff, and he even brought up Nietzsche and Machiavellian, the Prince, which 48 Laws of Power is sidebar. Yeah, I don't really talk about it because everybody loves to talk about it because it's like an impotent slave mentality wet dream. But they were talking about it the same way I would talk about it as if it was a sidebar book. Boring, information heavy. I was like, I don't want to say proud because it's not like he's my kid or anything. The guys are older than me, but I was really proud to see that there's content still out there like that and people still doing it and people still watching it. But yeah, it's something I forgot after all these times. You want to get, because I have a workshop. We run it on Substack every week, except for, last week, obviously. And a lot of guys in there are beginning stages. It's almost like university classes, right? There's like the class of this year and this year and this year. There is a new group coming in and the old group is slowly filtering their way out, which is interesting because then you'll see the new guys coming in and old guys like, oh, dude, yeah, nailing them on all the easy stuff that they do. It saves a lot of work on everybody's part, right? And you see, the issue isn't guys not having read the sidebar. It's not guys not understanding what it means to be attractive. It's guys that they essentially want a template. They want a formula. And I constantly reference it. Wine More Please. Probably the best frame in the Red Pill. I've known him for God knows how many years. He has this evergreen post that I reference all the time in there. That's why your field report, how not to do a field report like a retard. I'll grab a link for it. Here, let me get a link for it. We'll put it up here. I don't even have to type it in. I just go grab it. I know exactly where to get. Oh, he's actually got a lot of posts. All right, let me just narrow it down. There it is. How to own your shit. A guide for retards. Yeah, this one right here. Love this thing. I was going to pin it, but I'm not going to. Actually, I'll pin it for now because I'm going to replace that with the book. We're going to talk about the book a little later. And the part I like is because he's referencing stuff that, dude, I was the brand new guy when we were talking about. It was him. He's referencing this guy, Bogey D6. And Bogey D6 and I, we, with Zach Small, joined the Red Pill in like the same week. Like, I think I was a Tuesday, he was a Thursday, and Zach was a Friday or something. Like that level of, holy jeez. So that just goes to show you, some of these guys, they're easily as switched on as me, if not more. And the part that he was going in, where is it? There it is. I love this. Most of you simply go through the motions. You're not engaging your brain. You've never taken the time to try to understand and appreciate the principles behind the thread. No, you dumb fuckers come in, week out, and just do as you're told. Like the good little boy you are. You don't fucking think. Want to know how I know? Because most of you dumb fuckers have the same stupid ass format. Weights, lifting, career, family, relationship, social, etc. You just copied some other idiot and did the exact same thing as the other dumb motherfucker. You come, you fill in your form every week, and you pat yourself on the head for a job well done. That's great for you. You should feel proud. I'm putting in the work, you tell yourself. And the consequences of your lazy bullshit is that the people who could be helping you won't bother engaging with you because you're too lazy to do any real work. So, 12 months later, you're in the same shitty position you've always been in, with the same bullshit as before, but hey, at least you can feel better because I'm following the married red pill model. Like, right there, man. It's a banger line. Bold of them to assume I have a brain. I'm glad you like them. Like I said, the case studies are still going strong. I have Praxeology 4 in the can. I've got to get around to carve out some time and do the desktop publishing for it and get that one out. So that one's supposed to be out end of year. Softbone 2 is, I don't know when the release date is, but I'm going to try something different with that. So just follow me on Substack and you'll get caught up to what's going on there. That'll get you on the email list and I'll email you out. I normally email you guys the weekly like case studies for paid subscribers, and you'll get like an excerpt that gives you enough when you're a free guy. But for the most part, yeah, just the emails about what's going on. That's the big part. As long as you're on that list, you're good. If I get canceled, if I get removed from the internet, it at least is a way to get a hold of me. Thank God for that, right? Back to this one. Yeah, it's the same thing every time. It was almost better. Like everybody's like, oh, it used to be so much better. And it was, but I don't think it was better because of some better class of people, or because most of the stuff was rude, crude, rudimentary. A lot of like locker room banter just to keep the chicks out. A lot of infighting. It was always shit. It's always been shit. It's in internet space. Of course it's shit. But the one advantage it did have is that nobody knew what they were doing, right? So we all had to think through what we were doing. There was no groundwork. There was no model. And it's something I struggle with. Because right now, I mean, I've essentially codified a lot of the red pill stuff that was in there. Stuff to do with frame, stuff to do with dread, the idea of field reports, OODA loops. It's all stuff that was there, and it's all the stuff that's worked the best. But now that it's codified, I worry that it puts guys into this box. Like, you're in this box, and this is the way to do it, and that's there. So I always make an effort to, like, make exceptions where appropriate. And I always show a guy to make an exception. Like, assume I'm wrong. How do I know what I'm talking about? How do you know I know what I'm talking about? It's one of those questions no podcaster will ever ask you that. How do you know I know what the fuck I'm doing here? Do you? Not really. Most people don't. Most people never even think to check because, oh, dude, he's got 20,000 followers. And, oh, dude, look at that. He's talking eloquently into a microphone. Oh, that's a Dynacaster. That's expensive. He must know what the fuck he's doing. You know who else has all of that stuff and more? That date site guy, or who's the Chris Williams, Chris Hans, the Chris that's British, and Rollo hated him because he keeps biting Rollo's work. I can't remember his work. Oh, the Club Masters. Yeah, we'll get to the glasses. I know half of what I know is half as well as I should like, and the other half I know as well as half as I think. Very Lord of the Ringsy, sir. Well done. But the point is, it's not about what you're supposed to think. It's about how to think. Yeah, Chris Williamson, that's the one. And look, I don't know these people, right? Like, I will shitpost as much as anybody about it. I find their content is garbage. I find it slop. Intellectual slop. International dork web kind of crap. IDW. I hate hearing one of the Weinsteins, Brett. Which one of there's the three Weinstein brothers. There's Brett. There's, for crying out loud. Who are the, hold on a sec. I gotta look this up. There it is. There's Eric Weinstein. There's Brett Weinstein, and there's Harvey Weinstein. And all three of them drive me nuts. Same reason. Look, I'm very well educated. I've got tenure. I've been canceled by the woke mob. You couldn't have asked for like a better resume than that. Like, yeah, they got all the things that the liberals like, and then they got canceled by woke ideology, which the conservatives like. So it's like, oh wow, he's like a day walker. He can walk the streets like Blade. And then you listen, it's just the same horse shit that every know nothing podcaster has. And you see it, it's like I call it the Alex Jones thing, which it's not fair to Alex Jones. He's actually one of the best at it because he makes sure he's right before he starts running his mouth, you know, which makes me laugh, except for with Covington. That was $1 trillion oopsie. I like Goggins, but Walter. And it's always the same thing. It's like, here's a stat, here's a study, here's a fact, here's a fact, here's a fact. Therefore, and then they just insert whatever their emotional drivel is anyway. I had a whole video on it. I don't even remember if I released it or not, if we just did a live stream or what, where Brett was going. It was some COVID shit. And it turned out to be in like, you got to trust the science was at the end of it. And it was like, he just wanted to trust the science. And it turns out it's a rhetorical device. Chesty kind of introduced me to this because he's classically educated. He's a classically educated man. And what was it? The rules with rhetoric is if you're speaking to a hostile audience, you start with details and then move to conclusion. And if you're dealing with a friendly audience, you start with the conclusion and then go into specifics. I think that was how it went. If that makes no sense, swap the things. But I'm pretty sure that's the one. Yeah, exactly. Lex Friedman, same thing. And so that terrifies me. It's like, dude, what if I turn into one of those guys? Like, I know what I'm doing. I know what I'm talking about. So that gives you the... But at the same time, you know, what happens if you're wrong? There's always those questions. You should have those questions. And most guys have those questions as much as everybody thinks. You're going to red pill yourself. You're going to, I get to the gym. I'm looking fitter. I'm looking better. I've learned to get better game with women. I've learned to stand up for myself, have good boundaries, no covert contracts, bit of an edge to me. Everybody considers me a selfish asshole, but for some reason my life has just gotten better and people are happier around me. I don't understand. And then they think, that's it. Now I'm here. I'm the kind and polite Andrew Tate. And it's like, no. Every guy I've seen does this. Every now and again, he'll have some moment where he's like, oh my fuck, I totally forgot. I was simping for this girl again. I'd never do that. What the hell? They'll make some like very bare bones, basic, you know, jargon aside, blue-pilled mistake. Oh, man, I know better than to have a covert contract like this. Oh, I didn't enforce this boundary and they walked all over me. And I was acting like an idiot and this girl didn't want to sleep with me. And you know that kind of stuff, right? And that's when the guys hit this. It's like the final lesson to learn. The final covert contract is that just because you know all this stuff and you've internalized this stuff that you're going to have a problem-free life and it's never going to come up again, because it's not. It's not going to happen like that because you're generally fighting against your biology. It's like going on a diet. We are hardwired to chase carbs. We are hardwired to accept hunger signals and use that to eat food. That's how we're wired. You go on a diet, you have to fight against your hardwiring. You have to fight against your DNA. And it's hard. Your body's screaming at you. It makes you feel hungry, and hunger makes you do stupid things. It makes you feel drowsy. It gives you a headache when you didn't get any carbs to force you to get some. It'll try pain. It'll try pleasure. It'll try nagging. Sometimes it just waits till you're not paying attention. Then, you know that time where you walk up to the fridge and you open the fridge and you realize, like, why am I even here? You're just bored and you close it and walk back to the thing and you do it again in 5 minutes. It's like that. Your brain fucks with you. Is it any different with sex and relationships and positive male identity and male sexual strategy? Of course not. Of course not. It's exactly the same. That's when you realize we are hardwired to be simps. We are hardwired to venerate the female form. We are hardwired to take the side of women over men. It's a feature, not a bug. It's not feminists that brainwashed us. It's not those goddamn liberals. It's not the tradcon conservatives bullying you into this. It's just how we're wired. And we wouldn't have survived as a species if we didn't. You get a tribe with 100 men and 1 woman, and 100 women and 1 man, assuming the 1 man can defend it, that tribe's going to last. The one that's got no women in it, dead man walking. It all boils down to that simple premise that eggs are expensive and sperm is cheap. That's it. Everything we do is downwind to that. Everything. That's why Bean Flicker Slop is going to outsell male books 10 to 1, 100 to 1 every time. Because women buy things. Because women can buy things. Because guys will let them afford it. Women earn 70 cents on the dollar, but they'll spend $1.50. Why? Sperm's cheap. Eggs expensive, sperm cheap.
It's been a long journey. You've watched the red pill go from a nice internet space where guys talked openly and honestly to a clown show of white claws, Bugattis, human trafficking, and yelling at OnlyFans girls for clout. These are the stories of the good times. The church failed to help. Family failed to help. Feminism had 3 generations and failed miserably. Men do what men gotta do. We get together and do it ourselves. These are our stories.
Ryan Stone, another fucking fact.
Praxeology, Volume 3, on Kindle, paperback, hardcover, and audiobook.
Who is this guy?
Oh, how do you not like this stuff, man? How do you not like this stuff? Women are hardwired to exploit this. And for them, it's not exploiting. It's the same as a guy when you get in somebody's face and they back off. We use our tools to get what we need to do, man. You can't even be angry about it. Like, can you be mad at girls for manipulating guys and taking their money and running themselves up into debt? Because nobody stops them. Dude. If I got to be an asshole and nobody... It's like that Bill Burr sketch. Do you know how bad a person I would be if it was socially unacceptable to hit me? Oh, I'd be an asshole. Of course. It's just the way it is. And that's the message they don't want you to see, and that's why they canceled me last week. Yeah. Anyways, I got this giant picture of Harvey Weinstein here. Let's get out of here. Sorry, sir. I can't be staring at you. It's just weird. Anyways, the whole point of this is about laziness. And again, that's something we're hardwired to be lazy. Because lazy people use less energy, and the people who use less energy starve less. So in the same way we're kind of hardwired for simple carbs, the same way we're hardwired to simp for women and venerate the female form, we're hardwired to be lazy. So this whole red pill thing is, if anything, it's like the abomination of humanity. It is. It really is. You're going against everything. Oh, you got to get on a diet. Oh, your body doesn't like that. Well, you got to start being a bit of a dick to women because you have to get that simpish nature out of your head because it's evolutionary, not advantageous in a modern industrialized society. You have to do the work. You have to think through your things. You have to not take shortcuts. Your brain's like, nah, man, we're not doing that. Alpha AK. Fuck, number 1 with the crown. $5 1 cent super chat. Here is a non-cook article for the ad. First time hearing it cracked me up. Oh, God, man. Thank you very much, sir. I appreciate that. I still laugh. Like, nobody even... apparently, Jack Murphy's still around doing his thing. I guess he's in, like, health or something like that, but he shaved his beard. He's got a mustache now, and he dropped a bunch of weight because he stopped taking steroids. You wouldn't even recognize him. He looks like Mark Maron right now with less hair. It's absolutely crazy. Crazy. Yeah, wired for survival. And that's the thing. I almost find it ironic. I got to find some way to word it. Some kind of Substack level excellent note where being wired for survival is the worst survival trait guys have. I don't know how to... I'll play with it. We'll get it there. Is he still into prostitution? I have no idea. Surprisingly enough, he wants nothing to do with me. He doesn't engage with me. He blocks me on everything. And that's fair. I've probably been the least rude to him. I kind of just have fun with this, but I just told him what to do. What's going on with my subs, coach? Who knows? Who knows? YouTube's being a bit weird lately with the AI slop. Like, nobody's growing. Everybody's views are down on everything. Everything is just down, and AI is flooding the platform. The algorithm is prioritizing, like, deprioritizing relationship-based content creation and promoting idea stuff. So it's like the Mr. Beast slopification of internet. It's just there. Will that continue forever? I don't know. They supposedly had a policy where voice over AI videos are no longer getting monetized. I haven't seen it changed. All I know is that YouTube is adamant that I need to see 500,000 clips of The Sopranos, of Better Call Saul, of Game of Thrones, and I don't know, one of the other ones. One with James Spader. I don't even know what the show is called, but he's bald and acts like a pretentious prick. Oh, and the Western. I don't remember. Deadwood, and that other Western. I don't even remember. But it's a guy with a cowboy hat and a jacket. Same character. But yeah, it's like it is constantly showing me this stuff. And I guess all of this stuff is just random people putting AI through they got like an AI filter that you use for it that gets it past DMCA filters. So they're just monetizing YouTube for showing clips of random slop. Not even Yellowstone. It's a guy's a U.S. Marshal. It's like Unforgiven or Deliverance or I don't know. It doesn't really matter. I keep telling it, show me less of these. I don't care. And it's like, no, man. We're good. I'm like, you son of a bitch. Siege D, $5. Been seeing your action, by the way, on the Substack and YouTube. It's good to see you. Saw you at the Twitter space, of which I hate doing. But that was a good one about authorship and writing the books and that. So it's good to see you representing the T-Rex army in there. Hey, Couch. How can I be helpful to people and do favors without having covert contracts and also not getting taken advantage of? What are some signs? Well, the beauty of this is it doesn't matter about the signs. It matters what you're doing. This actually came up. There's a Mids Watch video on it. The only guy who ever got kicked out of the Red Pill or True Datness. I don't remember what the title is, but the guy's name is True Datness. One word. And he had a story where his wife and him divorced, and she was poisoning the daughter by telling, oh, your dad's an asshole this, dad's an asshole that. Daughter bought it hook, line, and sinker. Daughter's turning 18 at this point or something like that, and she crashed her mom's car. And he's like, hey, honey, I can buy you a new car, or I can buy you a used car or whatever. Just, it's going to come at a cost. I want you to come and visit me and my new wife. Like, just come visit us, be a daughter, let's try to make things over. And she's like, no, not doing that. And so he's like, fuck that, I'm out of here. And then the daughter borrowed her mom's car. Oh yeah, she crashed her own car, but then borrowed her mom's car, crashed her mom's car. And then he's like, oh yeah, fucking look at this. Who comes crawling back now? Well, that's the deal. And she still didn't take the deal. And he's wrote this big, long, scathing post about how he's disowned his daughter, and it was the very red pillish thing to do. It's a very interesting story. It was actually probably one of my favorite crash outs on Twitter, because he had been there for like 2 years, and everybody, as you talk to him from everybody, it's like he obviously knows what he's doing. He's red pilled as shit. And then as soon as he got tested, just turned into a melted, blubbering baby, loss of frame, all kinds of shit. And so I'll get into some of the crash out stuff later. But at the one part here was really interesting. Because Wine More Please. Again, Wine More Please. Bogey and I were talking. And Wine More is like, hey, so what would it matter if you just gave her the money for a new car or a used car without any strings attached? And he goes, well, fucking, and then it was basically, well, then she's not going to do anything about it. She still won't like me. She'll still do this, and then nothing will happen. He goes, yeah, but it's your daughter. Do you want her to be able to get to work? Do you want her to be able to earn a living? Do you want her to be able to have a future? He goes, of course I do, but I want her to do this. And he's like, right there. That's why you can't give her anything, because you can't. You're doing it. And she was actually the smart adult one in this situation, where she spotted his covert contract a mile away. And she's like, no, man, I'm not doing that. So to answer your question, how can you be helpful people and to do favors, is that you can't harbor any covert expectations from it. In his case, you love your daughter, you want her to succeed, you do the things to help her succeed. She doesn't have to return the favor. She doesn't have to love you back for it. It's because giving isn't about receiving. Giving is about giving. And if you can't give somebody something, have them, give her some flowers, and she just throws them out. She's like, yeah, thanks, and then throws them out or whatever. If you weren't in a position that you weren't getting offended on that, then you weren't in a position to give. And most people aren't. Most people are not in a position to give anything, because they always harbor these. I want gratitude. I'm going to buy some gifts for your dogs or your kids or your wife, and I want them to wear it when you send a photo back. There's always these reciprocal expectations. And the problem with those is if you don't live up to those expectations because A, you don't like being manipulated like this. How many people do you know that give you things or buy you things or do things for you with expectations in return? It makes you feel sleazy, doesn't it? Because it's like a hooker. You're like a hooker. Yes, leave the gifts on the nightstand on your way out the door. You can have a shower beforehand if you want. I've counted the soaps. Don't steal any. Yeah, give without trying to manipulate. Now, here's the thing. If somebody's trying to manipulate you, they'll attach, and this is where Manuel Smith's assertive Bill of Rights come in handy. If they start playing up to your goodwill if we're expecting anything from you, you're allowed to say, no, I don't care. If they're trying to say you're owed, if you're trying to be played off with guilt or with anger or with shame, hey, white man, you owe me reparations. You're allowed to not care. All this stuff. Your giving should be because you want something. I want, again, the true datness case. I want my daughter to be able to get to work. I want her to be able to have a car. All right, here's some money for a car. Don't hear back. That's fine. My goal wasn't to have her love me more. I'm not trying to pay for love. I'm trying to make sure my daughter can survive and thrive and get things done and get going. They're allowed to make their own choices. So again, if you can't give without any expectation back, if you can't give, have your gift, I don't even want to say like thrown in your face, but like not properly appreciated and not spaz out over it. You're not in a position to help. And that's one of the big underlying and unspoken reasons we talk about you can't red pill your friends. Because every fucking guy in here who wants to do that, everyone, it's always some covert contract. I am going to red pill him. He is going to do better and be healthier and have better sex, and his wife's going to love him more, and then he's going to love me and think I'm the greatest friend ever, and he's going to adore me for helping him. And then when the friend has any pushback, oh, you can't fucking tell these people. You can't help these people. Dude, it's like, you did this to yourself. This isn't him doing it to you. You did this to yourself. Of course, you can't word it like that because nobody's hearing that. So you have to word it as in if you try to red pill somebody, they will punish you. You have to put it in very selfish terms. It's one of those interesting things with the red pill too, is that generally speaking, everybody is a very selfish person. And you have to word things in a self-centered way. But it is very difficult to get those same people to think about something from their own point of origin. So it's like selfish, yet non-self-aware. It's interesting. And it just means you have a certain rhetorical way of talking about things. So in this case, yeah. When you're talking about you can't red pill your friends, don't do favors if you're expecting anything back, you have to frame it as in the other person's ungrateful, fuck you, they're not going to do it, it's not going to make it worth your while, there's nothing in it for you. Because there's not. And if there was in it for you, you would need to be asking. Yeah, well, there's that part too, right? You have to suffer a lot to get red pilled, and there's definitely a solid rationale for that. We don't learn except for through pain. That's been true of politics, that's been true of life, and again, it's because we're lazy. Our brain will fight tooth and nail to make us keep doing what we're doing. Yeah, it's miserable, but it's livable. You have to get into a situation where it's not livable until your brain's like, all right, maybe we'll try something new. You ever wonder why when you're arguing with your friends or arguing online about something and you have facts and logic behind it, and the other person's like just keeps calling you names and you can't figure out why? It's like, that's why. I am not in a survival threatening situation. Therefore, I don't want to have to hear what you got to say because it's not helpful to me. And your brain is like, yeah, man, fuck that guy. You don't want to hear that shit. You're like, yeah, fuck that guy. Which is weird because, I mean, if you're just going to do politics, as a good example, you think the liberals will understand and blah, blah, blah. It's like, no. Not until you start, not until you start repossessing cars and foreclosing on homes. Do you think those trad-con conservatives will make? No, not until the wife leaves and takes the kids. Look, Tanner Guzzi, love the man to death. He gets very controversial, not because of him. He's actually very pleasant and kind, and I've never heard him even have a bad word to say about people that he doesn't like, let alone the people he does. There is nothing offensive about this man. I mean, unless you're, I'm not even gonna make that joke. And some people might not like the LDS thing, which is fine too. One thing that's made me, I don't want to say proud, but it's just it's interesting to note. So he's always been, to talk to him, he's always been kind of red-pilled with the divorce and stuff like that. He always kind of knew, but he also had his whole, his tribe of people, and he has a certain social standard to meet there, and he wants to raise his kids a certain way. So I get that. You're never going to get him, guys like him and Ed Lattimore, you're never going to be hearing them talk like Myron. You just won't. But then after the second divorce, he's kind of like little mask off. And it's nice to see, because the one thing I can say I've always liked about him is he's not afraid to fail. He's not afraid to try. He's not afraid to do new things. Like, to date, he and Ed Lattimore are the only two red pilled guys who ever got into a boxing match when they said they would. Everybody else is cancel it. Oh yeah, as soon as and it'll change the deal. It's like, no, you said Tuesday. I said Tuesday evening, so match is off. No fighting. Yeah, screw that noise. Look at that, Steve in accounting. Haven't seen you in a while, sir. All right, Steve in accounting, $9.99 super chat. Every example of a positive male identity I've seen results in the guy being zeroed out as soon as the fantasy shatters, whatever it was based on. Example, I'm a father, I'm a family man, and a provider. See, this is actually a perfect example of why positive male identity is like one of the two parts of Red Zero, right? And Lattimore versus Tanner Guzzi, that would be kind of fun. Tanner, I think, has got a reach advantage, but Ed's gone with experience. Be like that movie, The Great White Hype. Anyways, for positive male identity, yeah. Because, and you know how everybody bitches. Oh, the woke identity, everybody identifying as feminists and these ideologies and fucking liberals and blah, blah, blah. Those are all identities, right? And it's very easy to see how unhinged those people are. Ideologues are just fucking weird, man. They'll say the stupidest things. Like, what was the recent one in the news? I don't want to get all political on you, but it was just the funniest thing. How, you know how everybody's been accusing everybody else of being a Nazi for like the last 10 years? You're fucking Nazis, punch a Nazi, whatever. I guess, and I don't even know what he did. I just know he's a Democrat something. I don't know. Has one of those tattoos of the Nazi sun. You know that? I don't know what it's called. I feel bad about this. I don't get all the Nazi terms right. I don't have my World War II history. But it's basically like a swastika, but it's like a sun, the dark sun or something like that. Tattooed on his chest. And then he got it blacked out and he's like, yeah, it was stupid, fucking whatever. And it was just so funny to hear all of a sudden a bunch of ideologues saying, you know what? This Nazi tattoo ain't so bad. Yeah, the black sun tattoo, that's the one. And they were hand waving that away. Meanwhile, they're like getting mad at Trump for being a crypto Nazi. And it was just like, this is what ideology gets you, man. These are what these identities get you. It's this narcissistic fantasy that you're the good guy and you're the bad guy, and everything has to fit in that paradigm. And it's a very common cycle. Very well known psychologically. I've talked about it a lot. You have your narcissistic fantasy. It's the story you tell yourself that fills your identity. Same thing as here. I am a father. I am a patriarch. I am a family man and a provider. I am a good father. It's always fungible shit that you can't object. It's not, I got 100% in the math test. That's never an identity because you can tell if you got 100 or not. I'm the math genius. I am the intellectual internet dark web. Like, what does that even mean? It doesn't mean anything. It's a bunch of gobbledygook. But in your head, you build up all these archetypes. What do these kind of guys do? Alpha male, another great example. I really wish Athol K would have roundly won that war between alpha as like a descriptor and alpha as a qualifier. Like whether alpha males exist or alpha is a series of traits, which Athol K is absolutely right. It's more just the things that make women wet, right? Versus beta and that. But anyways, point of this is you get all these identities and this creates a narcissistic fantasy full of symbols and archetypes. They all have it. What does a patriarch do? What does a real conservative do? What's a real American? What's a heritage American? And you fill in all of these stuff. And everybody's got different, it's container words, right? Everybody's got different things in their little box. What does it mean to be a feminist? Well, it's sex positive. Well, it's sex negative. Well, it's a stay-at-home wife that doesn't need no man. Well, it's a boss bitch that get 80 abortions. It's all like nonsensical, completely contradictory, but everybody's got a box and they write feminist on the front of it and that's your identity. And the problem is women are coddled and men aren't. So when you got guys making their fantasy, I'm a father, I'm a family man, I'm a provider, which is great. And everybody loves it when they're getting their thing out of it. When the kids are 1 years old to 5 years old and having a father's kind of non-negotiable. The women are all for it. Oh, you're the best man ever. I have a headache though, maybe next week. What happens then? The kid turns 5, 6, 7 years old, goes to school. Mom's now got 8 hours in the day to herself again. And she's like, you know what? I kind of don't need this asshole. I kind of never loved him. He's always been abusive. I can't describe it. It's emotional abuse. You understand. I got a feeling. I just don't like the feeling. And then they leave. And then the guy realizes this whole identity has been a lie. And here's the problem. When you don't feel, or when you don't fuel it, that narcissistic fantasy constantly requires fuel. That's why That's why patriarchs always want to have their women acting submissive to them. They need fuel. Feel this fire. I'm the patriarch. Yes, you are, daddy. It's BDSM. BDSM with a sundress and a summer hat. Feminism. BDSM with blue fucking hair and unshaven armpits. Yeah, the high value shit. Same thing. High value man. It's the same thing. What does a high value man have? And everybody defaults to either what they're good at or what they want to be good at. You ask a guy with money, what's a high value man? Oh, he's a guy with a good net worth. You ask a guy with a giant dick, what's he saying? Oh, good high value man's one that gives good dick. You ask a smart guy, oh, a high value man is a stable, smart man. Really? It's just so crazy that every time you describe God, he somehow managed to replicate you perfectly. So then here's the problem. Girl leaves, replaces you with the stepfather. You're not a father anymore. Your whole identity has crashed. That is what's called a narcissistic injury. They are not just rejecting the fantasy, but disproving it, refusing to even acknowledge it. And that's the part that hurts. You can accept having your identity and being the loser in some battle, but when somebody's like doesn't even recognize it, and that's why I'm so good at getting people irritated, by the way, on the internet, when you see an unhinged guy, and I just had one yesterday, showing off the fuck trophies for clout. Every time, man, every time. Gets them every time. Some guy on there was showing off his kid. I guess he's married to a Korean chick and they had a kid. And then he's like, here's my fuck trophies for clout. And then, of course, it's the internet. So some people are like talking shit because it's the internet. And some people are like, oh, I love your children. They're so great. And other people are like, I love your children. It's so great. Kind of weird. And then he's like, I can't believe I would put a very private, personal, and heartfelt part of my life on the internet and people would say mean things. This is bullshit. And of course, me, showing off the fuck trophies for clout. I'll have, and then he fucking went full unironic copy paste. Oh, it was the best day of my life. I only wish he had made a video of it. I'll have you know I have 300 kills. He's like, I'm psychotically unhinged. I've been to prison. I'm a violent, large man, and I've got nothing but time. I'm like, stop showing off your kids, dude. If you can't handle negative comments about things, don't put them on. If you love your children, stop exposing them to this. Fuck you, man. You know it is blah, blah, blah. I am completely mentally unstable. Don't fuck with me. And I'm like, hey, first off, I'm not the one shitting on your kids. I don't even care. Secondly, stop acting like you want CPS to come visit and take your kids away, dude. Leading with my mental instability and propensity for violence and criminal record ain't the play, bro. He didn't care about that, though. But that's what I mean. His identity is I love my daughter and I'm a protective dad. And he put her into situations, or him, I don't even know if it was a boy or girl. He put his kid into situations to allow him to flex that fantasy. He wanted to fuel it. He wants everybody to tell him he's a great man, who's a great father and love his kids. And then everybody who gets mad at him takes that as an injury. How dare you? I love my kids. Can't you tell? I've showed every picture I have of them to absolute strangers online. No privacy whatsoever. And then you end up with what's called narcissistic rage. And that's why the George Bruno sitting here calling me and Nuke and Jack a bunch of fucking faggots, you know? Like, that's why that's there. You tap into a narcissist. He's supposed to be the kingmaker. He's the tastemaker. He's the MC. And us just calling him like Mad Santa attacks that. So you get a narcissistic fantasy or crashed out and you get narcissistic rage. It's not anger. Anger is different. Anger is a pain point and a grievance. Somebody hurt me. The anger is your social way. It's one of the only social emotions. It's your way of saying, cut this shit out or I'm going to get violent. And for the most part, a lot of people take that, all right, fine, fuck, back off, or you end up fighting and it gets sorted out one way or the other, right? Rage is different. Rage is more involuntary. There's no grievance. There's no pain point. It's attacking who you are as a person. If you want to know an extreme example of it, may I suggest you go to New York City, to where the Twin Towers were, and see how a narcissistic fantasy can get broken. Guys, go to the strip club, next day fly into some buildings. Fuck it. Steven Accounting, follow up, $9.99 super chat. Number one crown in the chat. What does a guy base it on then that's also healthy and can't just be yanked from him, leaving him with no identity? Example, the wife walks, high-flying career collapses. Well, fun fact, that was the very first book I've written. And I think I also articulated it in Frame. Yeah, in Frame. It was the you don't want to be Don Draper. You want to be John Hamm. I don't remember what the title was in the book, but that was the original post that I had done it on. And it was an allegory to show you the difference. So here, if you'll understand the answer here, let me know if it's confusing. I'll clarify. You know the show Mad Men? And if you don't, Mad Men stars the main character is this guy called Don Draper. Tall, suave, attractive, advertising man. But Don Draper's not actually John Draper. John Draper was a man who was killed in Korea, and his subordinate, a guy named Dick Whitman, took his identity and used it and moved to New York. Now, Dick Whitman, raised by a hooker, very insecure, abused childhood, that kind of thing. But Don Draper is everything that he wanted to be. He's the fantasy. And so he's living the fantasy. And he did really well until somebody pointed out that he was Dick Whitman. His wife would find stuff and shit on him about being Dick Whitman. One of his co-workers found out he was Dick Whitman, started shitting stuff on him. And what happened then? He turned into a babbling, sobbing mess. And I get it, this is fiction, but understand what point I'm trying to make. So if you were to tell Don Draper, you're actually Dick Whitman, he starts crying and babbling like a bitch. Now, all of this stuff is TV. He's played by an actor named John Hamm. John Hamm's just a normal Midwestern guy, right? If you walked up to John Hamm and said, you're not really Don Draper. He's like, yeah, I was fucking acting. Are you stupid? Of course I'm not Don Draper, you weirdo. So that's the difference. It's by the things you do. He was an actor playing a role. And when you attack the role, it doesn't bother him. It's just a role he plays. That's just the things I do. That's not who I am. But the character that was playing another character, this is him trying to be that. And that's why the attacks happen. So yeah, I always argue, don't even worry about the identity. The identity will manifest as a result of the actions you take. Like, case in point for me. I'm blessed in the sense that my identity is very hard to pin down because it's all over the fucking place. I have a quarter, 20% of me is black technically. And most of me is I'm just a British guy. Basically British. I think I got a touch of Irish in me, which is probably the most racist part of me. But raised on a ranch, divorced parents. Dad was a oil man and a military guy, used to be a paratrooper, a lot of gambling, stuff like that. Joined the military, got a degree in art history and graphic design, fine arts. Time in the military, top secret, stuff like that. Work in corporate, come here, become a writer. It's all over the place. Is he a patriarch? No. Is he a conservative? Not really. Is he a liberal? No. Is he progressive? No. I don't fit anything. It's like being Tigger. And so it's an extreme example of what I'm trying to say. So the things I do are what made me who I am. But I couldn't give you an archetype for it. I can't say, oh, he's like generic this or generic that. I can't. And so when somebody were to come to attack me, like I think the guy I was talking about before who was mad at the fuck trophies for clout line, he actually had a pretty good one. Let me see if I can pull that up. This will give you a good example of how to handle your identity being yanked from you. There it is. So one of his defensive things, and I'm like, yeah, stop using the fuck trophies for clout. It's like, I don't need to use them for clout. I already have clout. He's a beautiful baby, makes people happy. You, in contrast, this is me, by the way, are a self-hating fat kid who turned to cyberpunk and political conservatism because girls wouldn't fuck you. And you've made sweaty resentment the entirety of your emotional life. And I'm telling you directly to be careful what you say about my family. I'm a large and angry man with a psychotic disorder and a history of violence. And I've been locked up in very dark places with very violent men. And I'm telling you to think it over very seriously. And if you want to hit that report button, please do. The message remains the same. Now, if I was like LARPing, I'm going to be a cyberpunk author. That shit would hurt. Like, fuck you. I'm good cyberpunk. I'm Gibson, goddammit. The political conservatism, I don't even know what that meant. It's probably because before that I had like an mass migration, third world diaspora post, but whatever. How dare your political party do this? And I'd be like, I'd be fucking mad. Oh, you call a conservative an asshole? Dude, they get, I'm not a racist. Girls won't fuck you. What are you talking about? And if I was like a pickup artist, dude, girls fuck me. Girls, I only fuck 9s and 10s, bro. Yeah, Matt Walsh might say you hate fathers. Hate fathers because I never had one of my own. I've had 2, thank you very much. But that's the difference. I look at this, I find it hilarious. I'm like, dude, he's losing his shit. Losing his shit because he thinks I hate his children. I'm like, I don't know your children. I shouldn't know your children. The fact that you're showing it off to everybody, I'm one of the kinder people on the internet. There's many meaner and more Uncle Diddly people on the internet that you don't want to be fucking with. And I'm here as like Jiminy Cricket. Hey, maybe take them off the internet, you fucking idiot. But yeah, what's he do? He tries to attack any pressure point he thinks I've got. Oh, you're the cyberpunk author. If I was treating that as an identity, that would fucking hurt. That would be he's rejecting my identity. If he was calling me some racist conservative, that would attack my identity. I would be mad, but it's not. It's just things I do. And look here. The whole reason I do that is because it's my job. I don't care. I'm kind of known for a few stable things, like showing off the F trophies for Cloud. God knows I got the Matt Walsh ad right here. The idea of having a private life separate from your on life, don't be terminally online is the key to it. And there's all kinds of reasons, but yeah, don't be terminally online. Don't do bullshit. Don't require validation from the internet. Everybody thought it was great when it's about girls on Tinder milking guys for free dinners and that. They're like, yeah, don't use the internet for validation. But tell that to a new dad, and they're like, oh, fuck you, man. My kids are beautiful. Here's a naked picture of them. And like, fuck, man, what are you doing? But if you attach it to things you do, I don't know what my identity is. You guys probably have an idea in your head, even though if you don't articulate it, and I probably have an idea, but if I find something here I'm doing doesn't work for me and something I can change will make it better, I'll just adopt it. No big deal. It makes you versatile. It makes you agile. And it keeps you from spurging out on the internet. Oh, God. Don't ever crash out on the internet. What the fuck are you doing? Don't do this. Keep it together, man. Block and move on if you can't handle it. It's the internet. There's no way. And the worst part is these people are old enough that they know better. They've been to a Call of Duty lobby in 2013. Don't tell me your whole like, fucking. Come on, man. You're acting like a guy with a 1-for-3 kill death ratio. Don't fuck with me. So yeah, and that's what I mean when it's healthy and can't be yanked from. And I don't like the word healthy because healthy implies a value judgment. There's no value judgment. It doesn't even matter. It's not that, don't judge. There's no value to it. You pick your own values. So what's healthy? Healthy is sustainable, I would argue. What's a sustainable identity to base it on? Well, the things you do. And then your identity will manifest from that. And it's sustainable because you aren't attached to any specific thing. And then once it no longer becomes beneficial to you, you can get rid of it. And I know this sounds a little bit hi-hat and 10,000 foot level, but I guarantee you, if you start drilling down, taking a look at the individual things in your life that piss you off, that get you mad, that get you riled up, and you start realizing that those things are attached to an identity in some form or another, and you start shedding those in favor of things you do, you'll start to understand the wisdom of it. It's one of my favorite things in this space, especially in the workshops where somebody will, after like months of work, come to the conclusion that we've had in like a pithy tweet for the last 7 years. I've just learned this day, man, I got to stop talking about Rollo Tomasi and this stuff with my friends because it just never works out. I've lost some friendships over it. The guy ratted me out to his wife. It's made it harder to work. I'm like, it's not worth the effort. And it's not helping me. You're like, oh, so don't red pill your friends. You're like, and the guy's always like, oh yeah. And it's so, I love that. I've talked about it all the time where they hear on an intellectual level that don't red pill your friends or any of the other mental models we talk about in here. She's not yours. It's just your turn. The emasculation paradox, frame is everything, rooting through the trash, any of the iron rules of Tomasi, never outshine the master, rules of power number 1. You guys hear this stuff and you can repeat it and you can tweet it and you can word it in your own words and that's fine. But there's something to be said for a guy who, from first principles, gets that conclusion on his own from hearing this stuff and kind of, play acting and then, oh, and there's no connection there. And then you make that connection like, I get it now. And it changes everything, man. I love seeing it. I love seeing guys. It's the only thing that's kept me sane in here. Like every now and then I want to get into the fucking clown show. It's like, oh yeah, let's do the Trump shit, baby. Let's go. Post a picture of fat JD Vance or something like that with a lollipop. You forgot to say please, motherfucker. And it's great. It's fun. And we're all excited. And then I'll be sitting there in the workshop and the guy's like, yeah, my ex-wife is just harassing me and she's threatening the kid and all this stuff. And I realize, yeah, no, they're still real people with real problems. And some problems are worse than others, but they're still real for the person. Like there's always one guy who's like, yeah, there's this girl, and every time you start a field report with there's this girl, the answer is there's not a girl. This is not a girl. This is a horrible thing. And it's always validation seeking stuff. I thought I had a chance and she's always very sexual with me, but every time I try to ask her on a date, she goes cold. It's like, yeah, dude, these are cock teases. Why do you think we tell you to always escalate, always be overtly sexual, always go after what you want, never be apologetic, no toxic shame. It's a Glover term, toxic shame. Hiding the badness. No, you talk with a girl like you want to fuck her. You know why? Because cock teasers and girls who are DTF, same girl. You'll never tell the difference because they act exactly the same. The only way to tell them apart is when you try to make a move if they go cold or not. Well, that's not respectful. It's like, no, it's not really. It's probably not. Doesn't really matter. Do you want to sit here for 6 months while some girl drags you around, giving you a whiff just enough to keep you on the string? Do you want to be dragged around like bait for that long? Probably not. Well, yeah, but she's going to get really mad at me. It's like, of course she is. She gets to have fun with 6 months if she hooks you hooks you on her little whiff. Or she gets mad at you for making a move right away. I just saved myself 5 months. And think about all the other girls you're talking to in those 5 months. Probably a lot. At least I hope a lot. And then you find that one girl, it's like, wow, this is easy. This is exactly the same as the first girl, except for when I go to touch her arm, after she's been all flirty and overtly sexual, she's down for it. I did not know sex was supposed to be easy. It is. We do this to ourselves, man. We all do, because we're afraid of being alone. We're afraid of rejection. We think there's some kind of progress to be made. Oh, with a girl, you got to talk to her, then you got to be friends with her, and then you got to emotionally bond with her. And then eventually at the end of this Herculean tasks, kill the Nemean lion, beat the Medusa up. I don't remember what all 7 of those tasks were, Fight the army of 7. What's that? Yeah, fight the 7 ex-boyfriends. Then, all right, now we can have sex because now I feel right. It's just chore play by another name, man. And that's why guys are like, fucking women, man. That's why. It's not women, it's you. It's you putting up with bullshit. Archwinger put it the absolute best. Women are just as shitty as you let them be. Women act just as shitty as you let them. And it is. You're saying, hey, I will put up with any shit that you give me because I don't have any other options. And I'm willing to take the bet that you might give me a little. And even if girls don't, like, they know. Even if they don't know, they fucking know. Oh, he's really nice to me. He's just like a friend. It's like, you don't really believe that. Maybe they do. But their hard wiring is like, nah, man, you got this. Sorry, not today. I have a headache. But we've been married for 10 years. It's a really bad headache. All right, fair enough. We just met. Yeah, it's a just met headache. And that's Nuke. See, fuck, Nuke coming into the clutch, man. When she makes you wait for sex, the sex is never worth the wait. And here's the funny thing. You'll get a guy who goes through this. Oh, she's baiting me this, she's baiting me that. I think I got a chance of making real progress and this and that and the other thing. And then finally at the end, dude, it's not worth it. And it's like, oh, so when she makes you wait for sex, it's never worth the wait. He goes, oh yeah. See that connection? Oh, that makes more sense now. Now I understand. That's another reason why you don't want to red pill your friends. You know how hard it is? That's one of like the 158 mental models that the red pill has, of which maybe 60 or 70 of them will be applicable to any individual guy in here. See how much work it took? How long it takes just to get one guy to understand one of the iron rules? There's like 7 of them. Do you really want to sit here and red pill your friends? Do you know how much fucking work that is? And for free? Dude, I charge. And even then, if it wasn't for the fact that when I was doing it on a one-on-one, it just wasn't worth it. It didn't matter how much. And Rich Cooper was like, yeah, dude, just ask for more money until people tell you it's not worth it. I think I started it the same as everybody. Yeah, we start like $50 a pop for an hour. It's like very apprenticeship prices, and then you eventually start working up because most people are just wasting your time. They just want a friend to talk to. And I'm like, I don't need a friend to bitch and moan, so I'm not going to charge $50 for that. So I'll charge 100. And people still calling, and people still complaining and not doing anything. And all right, fine, 200. And then you get that second call. The guys will call you like 3-4 times. Hey, do you remember that thing you told me? It's like, yeah. Well, do you remember how you said if I didn't do it, that this was going to happen? And then, and this, and you're like, yeah. And you're like, well, okay, so I didn't do what you said to do. And the thing that you were worried about happening actually happened. And now I need to know what to do next. It's like, there's nothing to do now. I just gave you the actions. I told you the consequences. And this is the consequences for your actions part of the conversation. There's nothing to do other than just to accept that this is what you've chosen. And no, they didn't want to hear that. Well, I just want to bitch about it. It's like, all right, fine. It's your hour. I think I got up at the end to like $500 an hour. And it was still the same thing. And I'm like, dude, I can't charge enough for me to not hate this. So I just stopped. I'm like, no, I'm not doing this anymore. Instead, I switched over to the group workshop model, which, again, a lot more benefits. I think it's only like $7 a month now. So I'm like, whatever. I would rather, instead of having 10 clients at $500 an hour, I would rather have 100 clients at $5 an hour. It's the same money, but it removes that investment from my side. From your side, and you pay $1. There's an investment on your side. And that's the good thing about it. Anything that's free is valued as such. But on top of that, it's guys get to learn from other guys. It's this weird thing. So everybody should be selfish. You're in it for you. You're doing this for you. Your field reports are for you to analyze stuff. I'm just there to help you guide through where you're getting things wrong so you can, do it better. It's not so much me telling you what to do. It's me showing you how to do what you want to do. And you'll see some other guys' field reports, and guys who are further along than you or maybe further back, and you'll start to see like, oh, dude, this guy's making the same mistake I made. And so you'll get in there. You're like, dude, you got to look, this happened to me and blah, blah, blah. And you almost have like, it sounds like you're giving a guy advice, but what you're doing is you're writing a field report for yourself on this specific thing. But in your mind, you think you're helping him. And in his mind, he thinks you're offering him advice. But what you're really doing is you're figuring it out for yourself. You're reiterating what you've already learned. And then the other guy gets to use his brain functions and think, is this applicable to me? Is this good? Will this work? Can I apply it? Or is it just somebody projecting? And you see, sometimes it's like arguably horrible advice, but do you know why? Even a lot when I bring up stuff at the end of the workshop, I could be wrong, but if I am, do you know why I'm wrong? And if you don't, maybe there's something you need to do here to find out. Like, what action can you take to figure out which one is the right thing here? Which steps can you take to discover where your path is, where your navigation is, right? So there's that advantage. Everybody gets to learn more things. Everybody gets to see more things to repeat and reiterate. Because it's like learning anything. It's like learning language. It's not about one big burst of activity for 2 weeks and then you're done. It's more so like 15 minutes a day for 2 years. Then you make it cheap like that, so it's not a big investment, but it's big enough. And there's other people there. And the best part is if some guy refuses to learn and he's just there for a time waster and he just wants to do this stuff, you can just fire the client. You're wasting everybody's time. I've had to do it a few times, not very often, surprising enough, where you just flat out tell the guys like, yeah, look, this is not the place for you. This is not what's going to help. I am not qualified at this level of whatever, and this place is not for you to have an accountable men helping men model. It works well. It's kind of the same as what it was like in the early days, because again, there was no roadmap, there's no model. Anyways, talking about the Substack one, 9 iron rules. Thank you very much. I don't know why I said 7. Look at this. I've forgotten more red pill than guys ever knew. and your 42 laws of power. Yeah, an unfortunate situation that's not my problem. Ryan Stonehenge. Yeah, I remember that chapter. Single moms, an unfortunate situation that's not my problem. And that's, again, none of us are original. You don't have to be either. This is men's knowledge of sexual dynamics and positive identity. It's a commodity. It's the soya bean of information. Pennies. It's basically free. So you're never really paying for information anymore. Same as you're not paying for soybeans. You're paying for the branding attached to it, the edamame bean. Gordon Ramsay's edamame beans in a box at Costco, $20 based off 2 cents of soybeans. Interesting, huh? An unfortunate situation that's not my problem. That was the chapter about single moms in Fuck Files. Still on shelves right now. The updated second edition's going, or I guess third edition's going strong. Grab yourself a copy if you like. It's worth. We all weird things in different ways, so you really latched on to which branding you prefer. It's not a good thing or a bad thing. It's just a thing. There's a lot of people that like Nuclear Quadillo's specific way of delivering this stuff, which is fine, as long as it works, right? If it didn't work, it wouldn't be the point. Of course, it's hard to tell. Same I said. Do you know if this is good? Do you know why this is good or this advice is bad? It's the same thing with like who you're listening to. You could listen to Nuke. Does Nuke know what he's talking about? Yeah. Do you know why he knows what he's talking about? I think I do. All right. Well, fine then. Do I know what I'm talking about? Yeah. Do I know why? What about Andrew Tate? What about Myron? What about, who's that purple pill guy? Sergio. What about Pat Stedman? What about Date Psych? Remember that? Date Psych talking about all his moral blah, blah, blahs and finding out he was a home wrecker? Oh, dude. Let's talk about your narcissistic injuries. I left Rational Mail at my friend's house, never asked about it again. Oh, that's a good one. What's this about? Oh, Crumb. $10 1 cent super chat. The most I've red pilled my friends was buying 5 copies of Frame and leaving them in the break room at work for the boys. They took them. Don't know if they read them. Didn't ask. It's probably smart. Thank you, by the way. Appreciate that. By the way, I don't know if this is a good thing or a bad thing. So I always check my KDP stats. It used to be every day when books first come out because I like seeing how they're doing, but now it's like once a week. Mostly because they don't tell you if they take one of them off for errors or anything, so I'm always paranoid that I've just taken them off the shelves for a week. But here's the part that gets me. So I'm pulling it up now. I put out Frame. When did I put out Frame? I don't remember my own things. Jesus Christ. Frame came out in 2022. Now 2025. It still outsells everything else. I'm so annoyed. Like, I'm happy. It's good that it's still doing well and going strong. But it was just something like, dude, it's beating Softbone? I just released Softbone. God damn it, it's supposed to have that initial burst. I mean, they're both doing well. But it's just good to see that the stuff is timeless. It's evergreen. It's kind of, and to be fair, Frame and Dread are the reasons that I don't generally do nonfiction stuff with the channel as much writing. Like, I'll still do field report books. I'll probably have an annual digest of case studies and field reports and red pilled stuff. But at some point, you just come to the realization there's only so much stuff in the red pill. It's not an infinite well. It's not oceans of width. It's got a lot of depth to it. But it's not the widest thing. There's only so many things we worry about, like getting laid when you're single, getting laid in a relationship. What do you got? You got cheating. You got sleeping around in your wife. You got sleeping with her while pregnant. You got sleeping with her after a dead bedroom. You got girls with chronic injuries, getting around that. You got sleeping with her after the divorce. You got sleeping with single girls. Then you got the like BDSM and all that little stuff like there. It's like 10 different things to do with fucking. And everybody's got a kind of quintessential guide on it. And then you kind of realize they're all basically the same. Like the concepts on sleeping with a girl you just met at the bar, and a concept with sleeping on a wife that you've known for 15 years that's in her sweatpants. It's the same stuff. It's just a different context. So sex is pretty much a known thing at this point. And I argue we've probably been reinventing it since like the 60s. Probably longer than that, but as far back as I can find anything. In the 60s, they had Playboys talking about this, that, and the other thing. Then in the 70s, the disco boys doing the same thing. And then the 80s, the punk guys talking about the same thing. And then in the 90s, the Usenet, brand new internet nerds were talking about it. Then in the 2000s, it was the pickup artists talking about it. Then the 2010s, the red pill guys. It's all been the same thing rehashed every decade. And so the only advantage we have now is that somebody and some of the other people there had the great idea of, why don't we write this down instead of letting it get lost in the annals of time, or annals of time. The annals of time. So it's largely a solved thing. And it's like, well, what do you do at that point? You just keep talking about it. You can keep repeating yourself. go the Jordan Peterson route, cash out, which, to be fair, a little jealous. The idea of, dude, I can just babble in front of Ben Shapiro and make $8 million and get out of Canada? Everybody's like, man, Jordan Peterson changed. I'm like, no, man, Jordan Peterson red-pilled. Fuck you guys. I'm getting paid. I gave you everything. It's all yours. I'm going to go cash out right now and talk about the wonderful nation of, of Israel. Yeah. Will there be updated editions of the Praxeology? I'll probably, at some point, look through it for some minor cleanups, because, like, for the most part, the information there is pretty solid. Like, there's nothing I would change. And yeah, you could always update it or add more, but I'm like, they're already kind of big enough. Anything more than like a superficial reading, and I've already redone the chapters on both, or the covers on both of them too. Maybe I'll add a different preamble or something, but that's in the future. Part of me almost wants to think, like, every year redo all the covers for all the books. Adding the hardcover editions to it, so it's like there are living documents in a sense. But if something ended up not being applicable anymore, I could see myself changing it. Like if all of a sudden the physical stuff, like oxidative priority, turned out to be absolute bunk science and there was something actually probably better in there, I'd probably switch it out, but to date, not really. Make Dread in some kind of story narrative style, you know? I mean, I kind of am, if you think about it. If you look at Dogwalker, what's Dogwalker? What's Dogwalker? It's a narrative structure for a red-pilled mental model. It's a promise keeper. You're reading a story about a promise keeper learning to have game, and then when he learned to have game, he had to learn to have frame afterwards and succeed. That's it. You're seeing the story. Starts off, promised my mom I'd never be an asshole like my dad. Becomes a manipulative asshole, a secret king, what's the other word for it? A sneaky fucker. And those sneaky fucker games and all that stuff make him into a miserable guy until finally he meets his match, some girl who fucking runs roughshod over him. Has an existential crisis, learns that, you know what, I can just be me. I can have my mental point of origin. I can enjoy life. I don't have to hate women for what they can't be. My stepdad, obviously, or I think his dad in this one, or stepdad, I can't remember which I made it. He was doing the best he could, and I could take the good things from him and leave the bad things alone. And then he finds himself a girlfriend, gets happy. And it's not like some happily ever after thing. It's just, no. Now every Sunday morning, I can still play Xbox. I'm not going at the bar. I'm not having girls destroy stuff in my house. And we're still joking around and having fun. He's reading Royce, and he's having a great time. That absolutely is stuff you would see in Frame or Dread. It's just a fictional format. Same as Softbone. Dude, Softbone's cyberpunk. 100%. It is cyberpunk. But if you read it, what is this? That's Dread. Dogwalker's Frame, Softbone is Dread. A guy henpecked by his wife learns to get out. Yeah, he does it in a very strange way. Wife dies. Wife and kid die to a known vaccine. Goes to fight a war in the Ukraine against drones. Pulls a giant heist, comes back, gets himself the hot redhead who appreciates him more for being a man, where at first she wouldn't give him the time of day, she treated him like an idiot. These things are all narrative stories. And that's the beauty of it, too. With the Red Pill stuff, it writes itself. Because it's just not bullshit. It's not fake. Like when you read a lot of progressive books that they have now, the characters are fake. They talk like therapy speak. It's more propaganda. This one is just, what do people actually act like? I'll just throw them into a story. Yeah, you'll catch those things only if you're aware of the concepts, but you'll catch them regardless. It's like shoveling your driveway. People only know when you don't do it. And that's why these ones worked. Because you're reading the stories and you don't know what the concept, you don't know what a promise keeper is. You don't know what hypergamy is. You don't have to. Yeah, with the redhead with the big old titties, or the tig old bitties, exactly. You don't have to know any of these concepts, and that's better when you're not preaching it like this. You're just showing it. Show, don't tell. I think it's almost better. Some guy reads Softbone. Yeah, it's pretty much the exact same things you'd see in Dread, but it's subtle. It's not beating you over the head with it, and it's only the applicable parts for the character. Same thing as Dogwalker. I think I used the word promise keeper, but I'm almost positive that's the only red-pilled term in the book. In the book, and it's not explained. I'm from Alabama. What's shoveling your driveway? Well, like when the cicadas eventually die off, or the the brush from a tornado lands on your driveway. It's kind of like that, but it's colder. And that was the point. And that was, again, for me, that was just, oh, what do I do now that I've explained everything? Well, instead of telling, try showing. All right, let's show. That's why I'm looking forward to when Nuke finally finishes his. Heck, I'm watching Jack. I technically have to do another Substack thing on I Hate Indie Books. I was going to talk about Clary and all the Red Pill guys, because I've been dealing with like some random fiction guys. But it'll be neat, because I don't know what to think of Jack's one yet. I haven't read it. I've got it. It's sitting here. I've been kind of, and it's not because I don't think it's any good, or not because I'm worried about this and that and the other thing. It's just, it's the same reason when I talk to like Wine More Please and Chesty and that, they're like, yeah, I didn't read Frame or Dread. It's like, I already know what it is. I'm like, I know, I get it. Same thing. I already know what's in On Women, but to read it from that perspective, then it allows me to just like, how well did he write it? It'll be interesting. I don't know if I'll love it. I don't know if I'll hate it. I don't know if I'll be happy about it or unhappy about it. I just like seeing more of it, you know? I love seeing more of it. Because look, even if I hate it, if I think On Women is horrible, it's still a good thing for the industry as a whole. Because, like, I'm not going to... and Rolo doesn't think this either. I'm just using him as... like, Rational Male. He's never been, don't ever write a Rational Male version of it for you. And I've never been like, don't ever write Frame or Dread. The guys actually have. Some guy made an AOPS list version of that, which I didn't like. But here's the thing. You read Frame, or you read Rational Male. Dude, I love this book. This book is great. It's so many things that I didn't think about until I saw it here. What happens after Rational Male? Fuck, Bachelor Pad Economics. I want more. Clary gives you more. Oh, great. Holy shit, Frame. I'll read this. Jack, On Women. Doing something good, the best thing that can happen for you is other people start copying it and doing something good. Because it's not a zero-sum game. You just get more. I'm actually looking forward to seeing more Red Pill guys switching into fiction. I would love to see somebody out there going, dude, I finished Dogwalker, which was kind of fun. I did not expect to like literary fiction like that. Slice of life drama. So I went back to sci-fi. I saw Softball, and that's great. Oh, dude. What's Clary's one about the shitting donkey? I read that one. Nuke's comic. And it's like, it's a long-term thing. Because you got to remember, guys, we're long-term. I got to think long-term on this. Yeah, you'll get laid, but then what? Guys who have dead bedrooms and they're like, I just want to get laid. And then they get laid, they fuck their wives, and they're like, well, I'm still not happy. Well, it's because you're not supposed to be happy. That's not how happiness works. Happiness is a path, it's not a destination. Well, what now? Well, now I want to make more money and, buy a nicer house and have a better family. Sorry, well, you go do those things. You go do those things like, dude, I'm not happy. It's like, that's fine. You're not supposed to be happy. Well, I want to finally leave this business and start my own business. It's like, holy shit, I'm still not happy. What do I do now? Well, have you ever tried enjoying yourself? You've been working so hard to build all this stuff. You've never sat back to enjoy it. All right, well, here, enjoy, what's that movie? Captain Save-A-Ho. Here, watch some Captain Save-A-Ho. Kevin Savo's video on YouTube. Here, read Softbone. Here, read Nuke's manga. You're like, holy fuck, it's actually kind of nice. There's always going to be something new. And the more of us that are out here doing this stuff, and the more we are not ripping each other off, but the more we're kind of doing the same thing, the more options there for you. And then once you find one you like, you're going to find more. It's kind of the same as with women. Once you sleep with one woman, you realize, oh, it's not as hard as I thought it was. It's actually deceptively easy once you're good at it. When you sleep with one, what do you want to do? I want to sleep with a second one. You do a second one. Oh, how about a fifth? How about a 10th? Oh, this is nice. Then you get to that point, dude, I have too many women. I got to take a break. What do? You go to the gym. Work on your Lego castle. Do whatever it is Nuke does in his spare time. Some Dominican dancing rituals or something like that. Like that one where you show off the teeth and get yourself a new bride. I don't know. I'm not very good with Dominican culture. I just know not to call them Haitian. Or black. So there's always this question, what do you want? And you're never going to have an answer to it. You're going to be eternally dissatisfied. But I think the difference is whether you treat it like a depression or as an excitement. Can't get laid. Well, you're getting laid now. Yeah, why am I not happy? As opposed to, why am I not happy? Try something else. All right, what do you try now? Well, now that I got getting laid out of the way, let's go Maslow this shit up. Let's get a good circle of friends. Bam, good circle of friends and getting laid. All right, let's work on my career. Let's upgrade my skills. Let's start a business. Bam. Now career's going well. Let's make it generate more revenue. All right, bam, money. All right, houses. Bam. You're eternally unhappy and you're grateful for it every second of the day, man. Yeah, goalposts are always moving. That's why it's never been about what to think. It's about how to think. Consider this. These skills that you're developing here, or that you have, I'm assuming you have developed. You guys have been here long enough. You've developed frame. You've developed dread. The idea to do an OODA loop, do your field reports, that sort of thing. Do you think this is it? Once you do it in your marriage or in when you're single, and that's oh, I'm done. No, man. This stuff comes in handy because you're basically dealing with other people. So it's the human condition you're studying. Do you think when you want to negotiate a raise at your job, do you think when you want to get on a client in your new business venture, do you think these skills won't matter? Do you think having game is not going to matter when your boss at your interview for your new position is like, tell me a little about yourself. Holy shit, it just started spitting game and the guy was all over it. Couldn't get the smile off his face. Now I start on Monday. Fucking awesome, man. I've seen it. My workshop guys, some really, and I'm not taking credit for it because they did all the work. At most, I'm just kind of like a anchor to ping shit off of. Show you this stuff and show it how it applies. But there was a lot of guys that were underemployed. Like, yeah, they were working legal jobs or business jobs, and they're doing okay. But then they kind of did the red pill, but they were like miserable with the wives, and they fixed the wives thing, and then they're like, they're doing better. Because it's the same skills, the same assertiveness, the same nice guy stuff. One guy starting his own firm, working as a partner, making tons more money. Another guy, his business was really going down. Now it's going up. But now he's got like a more level head about it, and he's not being so emotional about it, and he's making better choices. All different levels. I always laugh too at this thing where there's guys in my workshop that are just like hand over fist, way more successful than me. But everybody has their one thing. Like me, yeah, I would love to be the guy making $1 million a year. That'd be great. I don't have that skill yet, but I'm working on it and building it. Having said that, I don't need that much anyway. It's one of the other things I talked about in Fuck Files. How much do you need? What's the dollar amount? I think for a lot of these guys too, they were just saying like, what do I need the money for? It gives them a reason. How much money do you need? I need this much money. How do you know? Because this is how much a house costs. This is how much a car costs. This is how much of the lifestyle I like costs. I need this much money. And then they work and then they earn that much money. And then for every dollar above that, they think, all the things I want, is it worth the sacrifice that I'm going to need to take to earn this much more money? And sometimes the answer is no. No. Slowing down. All right. And sometimes the answer is, yeah, fuck yeah. Let's do it. Let's fucking go. Other guys in their divorces. Wife's leaving. I worry if I earn more money right now, it's going to cost me because it puts me in a different tax bracket. Like all these very specific situations. And it like, you actually get to wonder, do I want to make more money? Because you listen to the guys that are like, just make money, get bitches. Money for the sake of making money is good. Sometimes it'll cost you more, man. If you work 10 years to earn $1 million and then miss out on spending time with your family and your wife ends up leaving you, you lose half of it. You worked 10 years for $500,000. You could have worked half as hard, earned half as much money, still been together, and still been exactly where you were financially at the start. It just changes how you think about things, right? Lewis, $9.99 chant. Glad you're back, Couch. I'm glad you're here too, sir. Yeah, the only way, in my opinion, to be satisfied is learning to be satisfied. It's all about perspective. That's actually another thing I'll steal from Wine More Please, where he was, happiness is a choice, you know? And I would argue happiness and satisfaction, different concepts. Never be satisfied, but you can be happy. Happy's a choice. And I look negative. I realize that. I did a post, somebody was talking about Japan and the kicking the Indians out thing and how much they hate white people because some guy was on there doing some shit. And I remember I did a little quick story on Twitter about my trip to Japan and how I had fun, how people there were wonderful and lovely. And there was an old picture of me surrounded by Japanese chicks. We were going to a bar to drink Zima all night because I'm like, I have never even seen a Zima. I've been hearing about it for like 2 decades. Let's go. And it'd be like, Zima? I haven't thought about that since 1987. I'm like, yeah, how could you not go drink Zima all night just to hear it's there? It's like going to a proper absinthe bar. You're like, dude, absinthe? Like the stuff that's like crazy stuff? Let's try it. By the way, Zima's actually pretty good. I don't think they make it anymore. But if you remember in the 90s, they had this beer called Boomerang, which was like a lemon flavored beer. Sticky as shit, horrible. Or like Mike's Hard Lemonade in Canada. And all those drinks. Think of Zima like a proper version of that. It's not super sweet. It's not sugary. It's not like a Red Bull or a Monster. It's more like a gin and tonic level of sweetness. But it's just like a little club soda you drink. And I'm like, that's not bad. I am Delta. $10 super chat. Join Red Pill. Get homework. Finish homework. Get laid. 10 out of 10. God damn, sir. You're a poet. You're a poet. Zima. Oh, that's right. Smirnoff Ice. Zima was the original Smirnoff Ice. I would argue still tasted better than Smirnoff Ice. Plus those little crystallized glasses they had. It had that very like 70s Telly Savago or Telly Savalas Billy D. Williams vibe to it, which I thought was really cool. It's a very 80s type drink, which I wish they would have brought it back. I don't know who actually, do they even still have it, or is it like gone? Remember the company went tits up. Oh, the carbonated beverage, Coors. Oh, it's from Coors. Here we go. Its production in the United States ceased in October 2008, which makes sense because I was drinking it around October 2008. So when I got home, I was like hooked on Zima. They're like, yeah, we're not doing it anymore. I'm like, son of a bitch. Then it returned from 2017 to 2018. And then sales ended because of the pandemic, man. I'll never forgive the Chinese for what they did to Zima. Motherfucker. The Gen X subreddit is all over that stuff. Anyways, but you get what I'm saying here. And it's one of those things, and I'm a bit of a wonk about this. I get it. I'm the red pill wonk. I'm the guy who like enjoys this stuff. I find it fun. I find it enjoyable. I liked applying it myself. I like it just for the sake of it. You got those Lord of the Rings wonks that know everything about the Silmarillion. I'm that, but for the red pill. And when I see other guys getting it, it's rewarding. I don't expect it. More often than not, I kind of expect people to fail. Because most guys are shit. Dude, the one thing you will learn, by the way, if you've red pilled for any length of time, is you start to like sympathize with the feminist, you know, the angry feminist, post-wall women, all that stuff. With their where are all the good men thing. Because it's like I get it. The competition is fierce. For good men, oh, dude. They got it rough. Do you know how good you gotta be? A guy has his pick of the litter. A guy knows what he's doing. He's like that top type of guy, the 80-20 rule. Two guys out of every 10 know what the fuck they're doing. And 10 women are trying to get him. So he doesn't settle down. He doesn't give a fuck. And if he does settle down, out of those 10, which one do you think he's going to pick? You'd think he's going to pick the hottest one, but not necessarily. He's picking the one that's probably the most of his piece. And that's probably hard for girls because they think prettiness is all that matters. And so they looks max. They 100% looks match. And they'll get the hot guys, and the hot guys will date them, and the hot guys are realizing like, oh, fuck, she's a pain in my ass. And then they'll find a girl that's maybe, she's pretty enough. Like, she's still really good, but like, oh, dude, she's so pleasant. Like, there's, I don't hate myself when I wake up in the morning. I just look over and I'm happy. And then those rare breed of girls that are pretty, but not supermodel pretty. They're pretty enough, but they're pleasant enough, and they're good enough, and they realize, yeah, there's a whole package to learn. And the women that don't, they're fighting for these men, and those girls are cleaning their fucking, you don't stand a chance. I'll never forget the Chinese for what they did to Zima. Quote of the day. I might steal that. I wish I'd have said something that clever. Oh, that's fucking good. We'll put it on Twitter. And for the rest of the girls, they're sitting there going, where's all the good men? Well, the good men found the good women. It's not my fault. It just wasn't you. And of course, what do they do? What do they got left? They got those 8 men out of 10 that are various levels of supplicative or validation seeking or mentally unhinged or layabouts or all these kind of negative things that girls don't want. And it's like, well, you also gained weight. You could be better. Yeah, they could, but guys could get off the Xbox and start being a better man for women and provider too, but they don't. Nobody does. Nobody puts in effort. The only people who put in effort are those who want to win. And of those who want to win, a lot of them won't win. It's just the nature of things. To me, I'd argue, the fuck else you doing with your time? If you're a girl that's overweight, why wouldn't you lose weight? Are you busy? You got something better to do? For the guy who's just jerking off to e-girls on his thing and playing Fortnite all day and not bothering to get out there, it's like, I'm MGTOW. I'm throwing off. Women aren't worth it, man. It's like, well, what the fuck else are you going to do with your life? You busy? What's the best thing you got going on right now? I don't know, maybe go talk to some girls. Yeah, but the laws and stuff. Well, just don't marry them. Don't tell me that's your excuse for not even trying. But I mean, people just want to bitch and moan. Can't help them. Got to go do your thing. Heck, if anything, it's probably good. The more guys that get out of your way, less competition there is. And you guys have figured this out. Not one of you guys in here is King Dingaling. Not one of you in here is the Brad Pitt of whatever it is you do and wherever it is you live. But you didn't need to be. You didn't even need to be close. Dude, I'm swimming in poon. Why is that? I don't know. 45 and divorced, living in a one-bedroom apartment, but they're just throwing it at me. Why is that? I don't know. It's probably because I don't coddle them. They always say it's nice to have a guy who doesn't give a shit. It's like, little things like that, man. How does it not make you happy? You'll never see the rich scion with a hot woman. It's always an aristocratic 6, which is fine. But I mean, you kind of realize that anyway. I've talked about that before. There's no 9s and 10s. It's mostly ego. Most girls are like one of 3 categories, or like one of 3 or 4 categories. There's the women you wouldn't want to sleep with, which essentially invisible. There's the ones you would sleep with, but you wouldn't talk about. You'll kind of hide them, the slump busters. There's the ones you will sleep with, but you won't brag about. They're just like, oh, I'm dating her. Oh, okay. And then there's the ones you would sleep with and you would brag about. Those are your 9s and 10s. And that's 90% of the time. It's just ego. If girls are thin, take care of themselves, wear good makeup, act pleasant, not being fucking acerbic, they're all generally going to look the same. And this is not me just giving some flippant opinion like, mid. Science backs me on this one. If you look at any male and female quality, what's men like? What are women like? Men are always a very low and wide bell curve, and women are always a tall and narrow one. What does that mean? Women cluster around the mean. Women are God's anchor point. Women are mostly average. Women are mostly 100 IQ. Women are mostly 7, like 5 to 7, like middle attractiveness. Women are mostly in the middle on everything. They like to fit in genetically. Guys, we have some absolute geniuses and we have some absolute retards. We have jacked superstar athletes and we have some of the weakest, most pathetic men ever. We are the extremes. And as much as I love to hear from the guys who are like, yeah, but I'm the absolute worst of the worst. It's like, well, why are you here then? You've decided you're at the bottom of the bell curve, the third standard deviation to the left. We're here talking about the guys in the middle and above on the bell curve, the ones who are shifted, because our bell curve is shifted with all the little modern technology we've had. It's shifted expectations, it's shifted competition, and everything's been shifted to the right. We're guys who are just holding on, just good enough to get a nice happy life. They just got pushed out. And the guys that used to be just swimming, just championship, they're getting pushed into having to work hard like everybody else. Those two slivers are generally the crowd. Like, you guys here are either the just barely hanging on types, or you're like that, dude, why am I not fucking Brad Pitt in Cleveland or Cincinnati? Those are the two guys that are getting the most from this stuff, because they're the ones that have actually seen the difference. The former fat guy became attractive. It's like, oh my God, is this how people really act? How selfish, how shallow. It's like, no, it's just judge a book by its cover, man. You lost some weight, enjoy it. This is you now. If you're a genius, you're most likely a man. If you're a retard, most likely a man. At least my AI girlfriend thinks I'm cool. Yeah, see, Tang gets it. 282 rule. Very, very old school and spicy. Yeah. Anyways, that's all I got on this one. We got 15 minutes. Let's do a little bit of bants. Let's talk books. Where's the one?
Hi, I'm Kurt Vonnegut. I'm looking for
Ryan Stone.
What's that? Fuck me. Hey, Kurt, you read lips? Fuck you!
That's so weird. Did that play for you guys? There's no audio on this end, even though I've got it set up for audio. Not that it matters. All right, that's good then. We're in India and Canada. Don't get me started there. So side note on the bands. It's interesting. It's the first time I've disagreed with Devin on something. We are talking about audiobooks, and he's doing Theft of Fire. And this one guy, David Perel, I don't know who he is. He likes audiobooks better when the author reads it, which I agree. I actually prefer it too. And Devin's like disagreeing. He's talking about paying more, the production value, the quality of it. And I'm like, I kind of figured it out when I was listening to Neuromancer, Gibson. I feel bad. Like, as being a huge Cyberpunk fan, I've never read Neuromancer. I've never read anything of Gibson's. I tried a few times. I can get through Dune, so it's not like I can't get through dense reads or anything. It's just, it wasn't clicking for me. I couldn't get into it. I didn't understand it. And then I listened to the audiobook. Somebody had managed to upload, like from the 90s, he had like a cassette recording of his audiobook where he read it himself. And then once I heard it in the author's voice, it clicked. Now I can read it. For me, I find, even though it's jank, like you're never going to have an author who's as good as a professional actor. It's always going to sound like a stage performance when you get professionals doing it. But I find that jank and the way the author reads it, it just appeals to me. So I don't know if that's the right way of doing it. I just like how I do it. It makes it more personal. It's kind of like when you listen to something that's got an AI voice narration versus a person. Even though the AI voice narration is perfect, it just sounds better with that level of jank, that not made on an industrial factory floor thing. I don't know. So apparently his is out now, which is going to be awesome. So if you've wanted to read Theft of Fire, but you're not a reader, it's out. Audiobook. He'll read it to you. Or I think you get some actors to read it to you. But either way, you get to make that decision yourself. Audio was getting a bit of static, Couch. Is it? That might be me. I just realized it's... As the thing goes on, my tinnitus starts acting up and I start yelling into the mic. Am I going to do a book signing? I wouldn't know how. Because the readers are everywhere. If I go to any one city to do a book signing or a book tour, first off, I don't think I'm big enough doing the big enough sales to do that. Like, it sells really well. Top 5% of book sales this year. But, like, would somebody be willing to buy a plane ticket to fly somewhere for me to do a book signing? Probably not. What I'm actually thinking of doing is, so now that Softbone is done, I got the audiobook and it's 90% there. I have to make some small tweaks. I'm going to have that one out either end of this month or beginning of next month. So if you didn't want to read it, I'll read it to you. Softbone 2 is coming soon. I'm on the second draft right now. 2 of the 5 acts are finished. I don't know what the end date's going to be. But my plan here is I've been seeing people how they're talking about try releasing it as a Kickstarter project. So I'm going to give that a shot. I have to do some math still. So the plan for this is, if you were enjoying Softbone, I'm going to put Softbone 2 there. They suggest make sure it's mostly finished before you even start that, so that way you make sure to deliver. That's always my terrifying thing, is I want to make sure it's in a state where it will deliver, because that's how they all fail, is when the guy can't finish the job in time. And then we'll just see. Like, if you just want to support it and get a copy early, we can do it like a pre-sale thing. So once the book comes out, you'll get your pre-sale sent right to you, whatever. And maybe if it gets a lot more interest, maybe we'll do some kind of fancy editions, like add-ons, book box sets, who knows. Like I said, it's all going to be something new to see how best to get you to enjoy it, because it's all really about because I've been realizing the same way when I wrote any of these books, I nerd out about the smallest details. And I'm not talking about like a spelling mistake. I think Frame has 12 spelling mistakes in it. Very small ones. They don't take you out of it. There's none in Softbone or Dogwalker. I've since gone to that. But the typographic choices, the book size, the fact that I've made it 8x5 so it can fit in your hand. Like, that's a choice. Most people are doing 6x9s. They're just too big. Decided to use Swiss 761 for the titles. Gives a specific look to it, specific feel, and you look at that, you're thinking tech, you're thinking high tech. Using Caslon for the fonts there to make it the most readable book. The idea is you're able to read that all night. You can read it all in a single day if you want to, without your eyes getting tired, without your head getting tired. setting the pacing up so it makes a good thing, making the cover look the way it does. It's all part of a certain aesthetic experience, like the user experience. You know what Apple did the iPhone? They were big on that. I enjoy that part of it because I just realized if I just put some piece of shit together, 6x9, whatever font was available, some generic slop title, it wouldn't be as enjoyable, even though it's the exact same story. And so I'm curious then if that part of the process can also increase that. Like if I set the Kickstarter up properly and you're paying, $20 for a book as opposed to $20 for a Kickstarter campaign, will that make the book more enjoyable? It might not, but that's the only way to find out. So I'm thinking it's going to be interesting. It'll be great to see. And if it does, so much the better. Dude, Softbone 2, enjoy the shit out of it. If that turns out that little bit of investments would help you enjoy it more, then I'm doing my job. Like, I love the story. I give a shit about story. So I need to put it in your hands in the way that makes you enjoy it as best you possibly can. And if I don't do that, then I don't give a shit about my story. Dark Knight Dev, and I would say, like, to have this carry over in your other work too. Just to give a shit about the people that pay the bills, that enjoy your stuff. I'm giving you something. I want you to enjoy it. You don't have to. If you don't enjoy it, it's not going to kill me, but I'm at least designing it for that sense. And that's another reason I think I love Dev, because he's one of those guys that gets it. He understands. Like, you're supposed to make people enjoy this shit. Everything is slop right now. Slop, it's designed to steal your attention. It's designed like a gamble. Everything's a gambling simulator. Have you ever tried just to make somebody enjoy something without tapping into their compulsive desire to do something, to slap that one-armed bandit? No. I just like the people that are doing that. Anyways, Dark Knight Dev, 569. Ryan, do you think the job market is geared towards female sensibilities and intelligence? I see women here from New York City more successful than men. Oh, it absolutely is. And it's more than just... So it's like two parts to it. One, yes, women are being prioritized outside of any other factors. Everybody likes that whole diversity thing. And so hiring more women, absolutely. Makes you look good. It's a signifier. On the same point, women tend to be very bad at negotiating salaries. They tend to be very bad at assertiveness. And that gives them two advantages that men don't have. Well, three technically. One, less likely to quit and more likely to accept bad treatment at the office. If you treat a guy bad at the office, there's a chance he's like, fuck off, I'm not going to go get a new job. You hire a woman, she'll bitch and moan at happy hour, but she'll still show up to work. She loves that low level of misery. At the same time, they're not negotiating for higher salaries because they're risk averse, they're conflict avoidant. So when you have a $80,000 to $100,000 range job, you can hire a bunch of women at $81,000 or a bunch of men at $10,000 or $100,000. And that guy who's getting $100,000, when he pitches for a raise next year, he's going to pitch for like $120,000 raise. And why he's worth it? And he might be worth it. But isn't it much easier? That $80,000 a year girl, give her a 3% raise to cover inflation. She'll take it happily. So yeah, it's not that it's geared towards it. It's just that financially, at least if you're thinking short term, why wouldn't you hire women? And that's kind of why they're hiring Indians now. Because they'll do that $80,000 job for $50,000 because they are cheating and not paying taxes. And they're getting a government subsidy just to come here. And they're living in a house with 20 other Indians in Brampton. They can accept levels of bullshit that no human being can. I'm watching the downtown core's offices being just pagetified. It's amazing. As far as intelligence, I would say not really. Like, the intelligence for most jobs isn't necessary. Most of the time you're just, I need to report on this. I need you to analyze this. It's like rote tasks. You can kind of train anybody to do it. So yeah, a lot of it is, it's just like there's a humiliation ritual, and I know it's not the best term for it when it comes to getting ahead in corporate life. Go along to get along. It's all about the personal relationships, and women are geared towards that. So you put these two things together. You mean to tell me she'll accept less money because she's afraid to advocate for herself, and she plays the game? Fuck, why not? That's why a lot of those online guys call it Jewish daycare for women. So yeah, I mean, what's the solution there? What a lot of guys are finding is they're just carving out their own cottage industries. Make your own business. It may not make as much money, but when you're doing your own company, the write-offs and the expenditures, you can make You and a woman working corporate can both make $100,000 a year, but if you do it in your company, the amount of taxes you don't pay versus the taxes she pays, you're always making more. That's why you see a lot of these, and girls obviously spend more money than guys too. So you'll see a husband-wife couple. Husband's earning 50 grand, wife's earning 100 grand. Husband's got saving money hand over fist. The girl's like barely holding on and staying even. Because taxes and spending. So guys are adjusting to it. I think Clary's onto something too with the whole once an industry is no longer lucrative or prestige, women kind of take it over. Now we can chicken or egg it. Is it that the company is no longer viable, like it's no longer a status symbol, so women are taking it? Or by women taking it, doesn't make it status invaluable, which doesn't matter. They're correlated well enough that if you see one, you're pretty sure it's the other. They're not as good enough. It's probably that too, which I think is a good thing. I think one of the best things to happen to the economy would be if all of the bigger conglomerates balkanized. Go back to like cottage industries. We're kind of like when this inter-networked area with the information economy, work from home, all that stuff. Absolutely. A company hiring, instead of having 1,000 employees, to have 1,000 independent contractors, skirt all kinds of law, like, you know, no benefits paid, no medical, no dental. They don't have to pay the payroll taxes. It's just this fee. And then those people handle theirs on their own. I think it'd be a wonderful situation. People have much more control over their life, much more control over their investments, because God knows what's any millennial and even Gen Xer will tell you, oh, you're going to pay into the pension? Oh, really? The pension that's not going to be there when I get back? How many companies have like, oh, we bankrupted the pension because we had some bad investments. Sorry about that. Well, we're going to sue you. Well, good luck. We're bankrupt. Well, pension's gone. All that money you paid, gone. Military, the ones they do pay the pensions, they skirted out of that too. So these pension payments is just throwing money down the drain, or the RRSP contributions. To be fair, that's the one investment ones for those that were good is where they would match you dollar for dollar or 30 cents to a dollar. It's essentially like a pay raise for people who are good with money. If they would match the first $10,000 you put into investments. Of course, your Roth IRA, 10 grand. The company pays 10 grand, you both put it into it. You're making it $10,000 more. You just don't get to spend it right away. And you know the funniest part of that is the reason they have those programs is because nobody fucking uses them. Nobody. So yeah, take full advantage of that. But again, gotta eat a lot of shit. Free Gender, are you reading Something's Missing yet? It's on the list, man. Like I said, I've been busy the last couple weeks. I haven't had a chance. I've got my reading list. It's sitting there on my Kindle. I've got to get around to it. You'll know I've read it when I add it to my I Hate Indie Books Substack series. And Devin just sent me his new audiobook. So I have to listen to that now. Free Gender, $20 super chat. They actually pay women higher wages so they don't look sexist. Remember when tech companies did the audit of their staff's performance rate, they had to give the man raises because they were making less money than women, and women got mad. I don't remember this, but I get it. They complained, they got what they wanted. But again, it's not even they're paying more. They're paying to avoid the bad press. Now, I know nagging can get a lot in like bull markets, but we're in a bear market now. I have a feeling, I mean, we've already seen it. A lot of those day in the life of a Google executive, those chicks have gotten laid off. Sorry, man. The cappuccino machine and the cappuccino drinkers, you've got to go. It's one thing I'm probably on my third rewrite for Softbone 2. I need to alter some of the things. I have a bunch of office scenes where people are working for, they call it the temple. It's like the Tower of Babel. It's Amazon. They built an Acropolis to avoid the consequences of their actions. But the office stuff there, I want to have it more like that and less work getting done, except for the few guys in the back room. There's a theme. It's coming out. You'll see it's pretty good. But yeah, so this is all daycare. Static couch. Yeah, correct. Small workshops will be the backbone. And it's whether it's the backbone or not, it's irrelevant. It's just economically, it's a smarter choice for guys to make. Oh yeah, dude. To be fair, if life hadn't been so busy this past year, I probably would have had it done and out by now. But and that's fine. And then my plans after Softbone 2 is I have a Western I want to do a Western. I think I can do a good Western. It's going to be a sci-fi Western. First Families of Cydonia. But instead of being set in the old Wild West, it's set in the future, like the idea of a Mars colony. I like the idea of doing it in the future because then you're not tied to history. You can kind of take the story what you want. And it's not even, that's just a setting. It's mostly going to be the story about, what's the word for it? It's a story about people who are tied to the praxeology of their lives versus people that are tied to social signaling, and how that plays out on a desolate, like in a deadwood landscape in Mars and that. Signaling versus people of the Earth. It'll be interesting. Then Hardbone is coming, and Eric Novella. And then the third one was probably going to be another, like a sequel to Dogwalker, which it's not going to be the same characters. I think it's going to be a sequel as in the same themes or the same world, I guess. Hard to explain. Which I probably should be doing first because Dogwalker is actually more popular than Softbone. Which, I mean, I'm, either one. As long as you're buying my books, it's fine. But that's because women can actually enjoy it, which it's fine. But yeah, I'm surprised people aren't putting stuff in. That's why I love reading these guys like, oh, it's been 7 years. I haven't finished my book. I'm like, dude, get on it. We'll have to do the tax systems. Like, no, you don't. What's the bare minimum amount of world building you needed to make your book make sense? Do that much. Don't do more. Are you going to do any workshops on story structure? Well, down the pipeline, and this is, I don't know, have a timeline for this yet because it's going to be after all this stuff is done, but like an e-course, kind of like I did on that workshop. Everything nuts to bolts on building a book. Like I'm not Hemingway. There's probably much better writers that understand story structure and that, but I don't think that matters. You can pay an editor and they can help you with that stuff. You can give them money to do that. The idea of the story and the structure of the story is something you kind of have to do. And of that part, sure, and there's no right answers. You can do a 3-act structure, you can do a 5-act structure, you can do a completely off the reservation of your own type of structure, you can play with this stuff. That doesn't matter. The writing it part is easy. It's everything else. How do you design a book? How do you structure a book? How do you desktop publish a book? How do you market a book? How do you sell a book? And I'm not, again, there's people that sell way better than me, but there's a fucking lot who sell way worse. And of those guys, I'm like, here's all the tools you need. It's the same as the red pill thing, man. Here, go be red pilled. I would love it if I could be an inspiration and have like a workshop for writers to make them the Nuclear Quadios or the Jack Napiers of the red pill for writing. Somebody who writes better books than me because, oh, dude, you taught me how to do desktop publishing. Thank God. I'm like, fucking rights. So a course on that. My first e-course, which MLD John's been telling me to do that for years. Get on the fucking book. I'm like, all right, or get on the fucking courses. Even Clary, he's like, yeah, dude, the ROI on those, the amount of money they cost versus the payment you get in return. It's always just been about what's the right course to do. So I think that'll be the one. But again, this is probably 2016 or 2026. It's kind of the same as when I told you guys after I finished Dread, how there's nothing else for me to say on the red pill. And so I finished all the sidebar stuff, the 800 videos on this channel and this. So what's next? And I had to come up with a new 5-year plan, and this is the next 5-year plan. So in the next 5 years, you're going to be seeing all this stuff coming out. And then when that's done, I don't know, we'll see what happens next. Have I missed a book since Softbone 1? Nope. Softbone has been the newest one out of all of them. So how did my release schedule go? It was Praxeology Volume 3 came out in November. And then I spaced them out. So February would be Dogwalker. And then August was Softbone. And then the plan now is Praxeology Volume 4, November-ish, maybe December. And then a Softbone 2, which I got to come up with a better title for that. I don't know what to call it yet. Jeet Alley, Michigan Ave. I don't know. I'll figure that out. That'll be in the new year. January, February, maybe. So we'll see. Make one on writing. I mean, I could. But it's not going to be the best. It'll probably be like an amendment to the one on the other book stuff. Because that's not where my strength is. I'm an okay writer. I'm a competent enough writer. But I'm not... I guess for those who can't teach. Maybe I should teach it. Yeah, just teach it. Anywho, we are going after this. Well, you guys are going. This Rule Zero. I think it's Nuke doing it. I got the link. It's going to take you guys directly there. Don't even worry about it. and I will say this: if you guys haven't, come join me on Substack. If you read Royal Roads, I've got my short stories on there as well. Get on there. I'm gonna put links to everything in the description here. But if you haven't already, grab it on Kindle, $9.99. Grab it paperback, which is it was designed to be read as a paperback, $19.99. And then there's the hardcover for those who really want to get into it. Some people love and prefer the hardcovers. That one's there too. It's got its own custom. Get caught up and follow me on Substack, because anything that I'm doing, any place where I'm going to give updates, that's going to be the place. If I've got anything on the go. Oh, one last thing before I go. I'm going to be on the radio. What the hell? Marshall McLuhan. Medium is the message. I don't know if you ever heard of this guy. Very popular Canadian thinker. Most popular University of Toronto professor before Jordan Peterson. His grandson runs a radio station in Toronto, and they're having me read Softbone. So it'll be good. I'll send out a thing. I have no idea how it's going to be played and how, if you can even listen to it, but it'll be good. It'll be like Rollo going on Oklahoma radio. Plus the fact that I'll probably coo about his granddad. Dude, your granddad was awesome. I loved all that shit. Loved Medium as a message. Kind of taught me everything. So we'll probably chit-chat about that and read the book on there. That'll be kind of neat. It'll be very interesting to hear the Toronto audience. What the fuck is this? This isn't woke. It's like, no, it's not. But I'm an Albertan. And then they'll start hating me because everybody in the East Coast hates Alberta. East Coast, West Coast rivalry. Tupac and Biggie. On that note, enjoy. I'll see you guys later. Have fun with Nuke. I won't be there this time. I'm going to try to get into more. Static in your audio is getting worse. Yeah, it's probably just the... I mean, it's not going to be an issue now.
And Ryan Stone. He's a halfway decent looking guy, a nice smile.
79T 248 Learning Corp, Little Red Riding Hood, take 1.
Somebody find out their fucking real names for me.
40 years of my life is in the wire that's gone. Does that make sense?
You have to get through that wall.
But I only know what my heart feels.
Where they say there are Indian people pooping on our beach.
Socially retarded